sometimes we know some facts that organizations have been investing in one technology, and after 2 years, they have to do full migrations or replacement or decommissioning. That's a waste of investment. So with that much and the data growth, even how the volumes is getting generated and more over time, that changed the mindset to focus on a use case, which we call it short-term ROIs or low-hanging fruits, you call it, right?
Welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm joined by Yanal, the founder and CEO of AiElements. At RevGenAI, we focus on how B2B leaders are generating revenue in 2026 through AI, thought leadership, and ultimately how they're creating qualified sales conversations and how they're building practical go-to-market systems. Today, we're going to explore how AiElements is serving enterprise clients and what's actually working in terms of servicing enterprise data and AI enablement to create trust and generate real pipeline and turn their expertise into revenue. Yanal, it's great to have you.
Yeah. Hi, Meir. Thank you for hosting me on this great podcast. And let's do a great conversation around the industry.
Sure. So just to start us off, can you briefly explain what AiElements does, who do you serve, and what specific problem you're solving for enterprise clients?
Yeah, sure. AiElements is a Saudi headquartered company born and raised in Saudi Arabia, which has an center of excellence in Jordan. What we do exactly, we do services and consultancy in the niche market of data and AI. This is our laser focus, and we had a golden rule that we don't drift out of this focus. What the problem we resolve in the market is basically we had 15 years plus experience from the leadership and the implementations of doing data analytics. That includes all the layers from, I would say, the whole history from data warehousing to data lakes and to lake houses and modernizing data architectures. What we found that data with the revolution of cloud that everybody is migrating to cloud is becoming under threatened. And that is creating there's a lot of regulatories coming to protect this data from all the aspects. Now, enterprises usually, they spend a lot of investment to build their data journey or data strategy, building multi-millions tech architectures that defined by their size, defined by their amount of data they host, and a couple of aspects to decide. And it ends up with they still taking reactive decisions. Like if you bring the data and convert it into analytics, so you can take decisions, but still you're too late. And with the emerging that happening with AI, you still become too late, right? Even if you get it in a real time, you're still too late because you still need to do an analysis on the data and building your metrics and KPIs and find and execute the action. And this is exactly what we resolve for the enterprises. We help them to identify their maturity level of whether they have an existing or they are intending to have a data architectures. And we work hard with our engineering team to guarantee two major things. One is qualified scalable data, because this is very important for the AI to scale. If you bring the qualified data, AI can process properly and get whatever you need to get from analytics perspective. Also, the second thing is the governance. As we know, everybody is going to migrate, and the cybersecurity revolution is emerging aggressively in the market and very rapidly. That creates threats against the data, right? So if you grow with the data and you expose it to the cloud or to the AI and there's no governance surrounding this data, that's another risk. So this is where we put our engineering team to help to help organizations to build proper maturity that helps them to start embedding AIs to expedite the delivery of the analytics. And instead of them doing reactive decisions with agent AI, we help them to automate their decisions and make a lot of surrounding integrations around a specific KPI and metrics. So in fact, we're replacing humans for the using automations to take the necessary actions. And with the existence of machine learning under the agentic AI, we keep the human in the loop to control the illusions of the AI and rewarding and giving feedback. So machine learning is keep adapting and learning and learning. So it became entirely an ecosystem. That what we do exactly. Our customer segments is ultimately an enterprises who's holding a lot of data, because if you want to execute AI, you need a lot of data, right? So we usually sells industries like telco and the first line, banking, insurance, government for sure, some of them, aviation. We've done quite a good job in the aviation industry.
Yeah, I really like the positioning, as well as just understanding that I feel like we're just at the real start of the AI adoption curve, and companies like yours are perfectly positioned to help bridge that gap between all the unknowns, security risks, data risks, and just put that infrastructure in place to be able to help enterprises adopt AI and increase their efficiency. But you also explained to me that selling direct to enterprise is not your only focus. It's not your only channel. Can you share a little bit more how you're positioning your partnership channel with other AI companies or other cybersecurity companies, and really where do you see that collaboration working for AI Elements?
Yeah, sure. We have two in our channel management. We have two major partnership models. One of them, we call it alliance. It's basically we're calling ourselves as an early adopters. AiElements founded in 2019. So we are, again, we're a laser focused company on data and AI that limits our service lines and revenue streams to this scope, right? Though with an age of such company, in order to be able to penetrate the governmental market, you need to get a lot of qualifications and building management and financial governance for the company to be able to list it and to compete with the market, right? And there's a lot of local and international system integrators and big companies, big firms who have been quite long in the market. But these people, all of them have been focused on the 20 past years, providing infrastructure, providing hardwares, providing licenses, providing business support system or operational support systems, any kind of. The transformation came into the era, and the leadership in any of such big company, they want to adopt. So the first thing they're going to find out that they need to build, whatever you call it, a sector or a department or an initiative or a program to create this kind of services under their portfolio. And that is very challenging. Means they need to do what we have been doing since 2019. So we identified over the past 2 years by having strategic partnerships with the local, mainly in Saudi Arabia, system integrators, the top 4 to 5 ones. We became a very attractive company for them as a tech arm. So instead of they reinvent the wheel and building the whole ecosystem, they just, with their access to the business, to the market, they're using us as a subcontract, and they being able to deliver high qualified and scalable with a visionary data and AI driven solutions. And again, they don't spend a lot of initial capital and overheads and expenses to build what we've been building, right? As a services company. So we call it Align. This is one of the partnership. The second partnership, it's the vendor, the technology vendor, which most likely all system integrators, they do this. It's basically, there's a lot of US based or European based or international based companies have been quite in the market. They've been developing their products and they're market leading. And, such Gartner or other company that do research on these companies, they put them in their quadrant, right? So they identified what's the value proposition for any product. Let's call that last 3 years in Saudi Arabia, the products that fits the market and that have done a quite good job among a lot of merger acquisitions or whatsoever, it's became known. These products became well known in the Saudi market. So we partner with them and we develop our partnership with them to scale it by having engineering, being able to implement their products and developing proof of concepts for the clients using their products. And with our holistical architecture, we enter, because the whole ecosystem is a multiple technologies, right? Like doing data to AI, you can say starting from 2 to 3 to 7 technologies. So we have to make all of these speaking to each other, to each other's as an ecosystem. So where we fit. So we have these partnerships to bring the products. And once we identify what's maturity of that particular client or organization needing to start or to evolve or to scale their journey, we bring these products into the tech stack through our partnerships. And because we have the partnerships, so we have the engineering team who can implement and integrate and then delivering the value.
Yeah, I like both partnership approaches. First of all, getting past the hurdle of getting into regulated markets by fitting into those companies that have built the those channels, and those are oftentimes the hardest to break into. But once you're in there, then you can really expand. And then the other, just enable greater services. What I'm really curious about is specifically the wedge of how you find the best path to start an engagement, because you explained to me that one of your main strategies is land and expand. So I'm really curious about what's actually working, as far as what is the first engagement that you see generates the biggest outcome that allows you to establish the credibility, and from there you can add more contracts on top of.
Yeah, sure. It might take a little bit, but it's very important to explain it. Okay, in the science of sales, we have the proactive sales and the reactive sales. So the reactive sales is the business that got floated into the market, and you, like anybody in the market, bringing these opportunities and submitting. So we react to this business. So we have a very traditional sales operations that does this job. That consists quite good portion of our revenues or the market shares. All right. But it's a very competitive market, because whatever is posted in the market, it's either an existing consultancy have involved with invoking this into the market for that client, or it's a new phase or an extension or scalable phase from an existing project. So there where the potential to win is very competitive, right? Now, that's part of how we bring business, but it's not our, I would say, laser focus to sell. Now, how is the trick or our go-to-market is use case driven between a bracket. AI is evolving. And if we talk about the past 3 years, there was a lot of governmental investment injected into the market to rise the horizon around the AI. So they educated the market. They created a lot of strategic level partnerships at the country level. That brings them eyes on the horizon. That creates a very high level of maturity into with the leaderships who are our targeted personas. I'm talking about chief information officers or data officers or executive officers, or you call it like any one of the decision makers who's owning budget to contribute into strategy or initiative or program to transform. So that's a lot of millions, right? So these people, even the granular level of the hierarchy of any organization became highly mature, all of them. So previously, you can position yourself as a company that bring in data architecture because I'm bringing tier A products, integrating them, and hey, this is your tech stack. You just connect to your data sources, bring it to the whole ecosystem, making analytics. That's previously. The new level of maturity is adopting. Why? Because this journey became very costly on them. And if we talk about the past 2 years, the technology is evolving rapidly. So sometimes we know some facts that organizations have been investing in one technology, and after 2 years, they have to do full migrations or replacement or decommissioning. That's a waste of investment. So with that much and the data growth, even how the volumes is getting generated and more over time, that changed the mindset to focus on a use case, which we call it short-term ROIs or low-hanging fruits. You call it, right? So this is how we sell. So when we opening a door, like, and hitting the doors for a CIO or something, they say, what's your pain? My pain is center of customer experience. My pain is cost control. My pain is forecast. My pain is I want to very proactive ticket resolution. So instead of we position ourselves as, hey, we're going to build for you a best in class tech stack. And we said, no, let us do that use case. And down the road, we give you the small or scalable or high level architecture that you can see the future, how it's go. So he tests the value and he gets some sort of ROI, and then we land and then we expand. This is how we sell. So the way how we don't make our positioning in the first place is a very expensive, but it's very attractive. So we focus understanding the one business use case, make it into the ecosystem. We start with a POC, proof of concept, and then if we get blessings, we go for full-fledged deployment. With the existence of hyperscalers and cloud ecosystem, it's going to be plug and play, right? To deploy. You don't spend any more time on, and the governance, the data governance is protecting your data. So there's no choice for them to say, hey, how much time you need to deploy my tech or enable it? No, I don't need any time. It's just a couple of days. I get you the whole architecture is running live, and just we need to ingest data, model it, whatever, bring it to the value pretty quickly. And then exactly we creating from their ROI, the investment, want them to pay us back, and it's became a circularized process. We continue use cases, defining priorities, changing priorities according to their need. That is a fair situation because they don't spend a lot of investments, okay? And we don't build a very big thing and end up, that data source doesn't make sense. No, instead, I do it clean. I focus on one data source, create a use case, resolve the issue, bring in the value, done, take next. So if I answer your question.
No, you answered it perfectly, because I think that's where a lot of companies are getting lost in this process, is because they're trying to solve the wrong problems. They're not reaching the buyers where the buyers are ready to invest and where the pain is deepest and the ROI is the clearest. And they're making their job harder on themselves by trying to set something up that we all know in 6 months from now, we have no clue how far ahead we're going to be, and setting themselves up for frustration. and for starting a sales process that may not even be relevant by the time it's even approaching, the later stages. So I think it's a great approach. I think that's, I'm sure that came through experience of trying to sell the wrong way and then learning the right way. But let me ask you this, because this is a very interesting point for us, is when you're talking to that caliber of decision maker, and especially with the massive amount of noise in the market and AI hype, and everybody's become more skeptical.
Price.
How do you build trust with
Right.
those buyers, and what really requires the stamp of approval in terms of the credibility that you need to bring, the authority that you need to bring, and the trust that you need to build before they're even ready to have a conversation with you?
Yeah. Price. We are selling a very competitive pricing. That's the thing. Second thing is I put him in no risk. We are a well-matured, value-driven company. We have a big value proposition in our company that from the chiefs down to anybody in the company, you can speak with him as you speak with the senior tech architectures. We're very, even our functional teams, all of them they can speak with you the same technical language. That's one value proposition we offer. The second thing is our pricing is very competitive comparing to the services, because the ones who used to sell in the market is international firms, and the market prices is quite, everybody know it. So we get in there because we need to get in there. So the most attractive thing is the price. The third thing is I'm not promising order of a very big thing of a multi-millions. I'll be approaching a multi-millions, but starting of a couple of $100,000. That's how it works. So even I usually feel one thing that, the statement that's it's so good to be true. This is, I read the faces in front of me. Always when I pitch in front of an executive, I feel so good to be true. If he's delivering that value for my sales forecast for this little amount of company, I don't care how old is this company, or if it's, I'll get them in. And even whatever he promising you is going to be even paid on an installment, right? Because you're going to submit your delivery to accumulatively collect your payouts, right? So it's no risk for him. Technically, I put him in no risk, and you're promising him a contribution of everybody is contributing to transformation. That's one thing. The second thing, our strategic vision of the company, it's not to be high profitable earnings. We know that we are a servicing company. Our operating model is very efficient. We spend a lot of effort building a very governed, efficient financial model, how we spend versus how we deliver. We know that we need to go very strategic moves by getting merger or acquisitions, or we do fundraising, or we go IPO. So because of that vision, we're not too much, our board and investors, they're not too much worried about how much dividends you divide by end of the year. No, that's why we have the leverage to contribute on the cost. Okay. And we have no pressure from the investors to make it a very quick. It's profitable, but to keep alive, right? So the strategic vision as an early adopter is not so important for me today to make high dividends at the end of the year, every year. But it's very important to me to build a big brand name, high reputable company in the market that delivers really data to AI. Even our slogan, from data to artificial intelligence. That's our slogan. So this is how we convince people. We get them, we get their buy-ins by make it no risk. There's no risk. You're going to buy in, you're going to buy in. Anyway, I'm having credentials for sure.
Again, I think that's such a smart approach, because if your main strategy is growing the brand, and your main strategy is getting the account, getting the relationship, providing the good experience to where you've owned one use case, that is established in a new established business channel where you can grow the revenue by millions later. And that's the part that allows you to own that account and outcompete everyone else once you've proven yourself in that use case. And so coming in at a competitive price and removing all the risk and all the reasons why there would be friction is the best approach, because a lot of times companies are trying to pitch their services, but they're not really sitting in the other chair of the person that they're speaking to and thinking about, why wouldn't this person do it? What are the hidden costs that are costing them their time, their resources, and why they shouldn't do it, and answering those questions before the prospect can have the chance to say no, and really making it easy for them to get a quick win with you so that you can own that relationship and bring in the millions on the back end, one that you know that you'll have once you can get them the use case that you've already been able to provide for them. One more thing that I'm really interested in is, even with that really good approach, what do you feel is the biggest challenge that you have in scaling up outreach and reaching more senior executives with this, type of land and expand approach?
Access to these executive people is the most challenging part. I can tell the conversion, if we reach for stage to sit with an executives with a qualified need that we know there's a budget and there's a demand, most likely we're going to convert. But in order to reach, that is one thing. I can tell, like, recently there's the economical and global situations, political situations is quite changing the priorities for companies, for the government, for everybody. So that also sometimes waste of your time. You keep working. At some point of time, there is unknown thing or unexpected things happens on the place. So change priorities. But if we set on the table, most likely we convert. And I want to add one thing also that belongs to the same question. The DNA of chiefs, different DNAs, right? There's some people who's eager to invest, and there's some people who's eager to build a vision or just thinking strategically, and they're brave hearts. And there's some people who are cost efficient, like cost control people. The DNA is just to control the cost, and all of them are right. Just it's different DNAs, right? One of the value proposition that if we identify that this kind of people, usually such executive, they've spent some investment over at least a couple of years trying to build an in-house such as solutions and capacity. But because they don't look at it from the system integrator perspective, and they're not like too much adopted, even the employees, the in-house employees, they don't have even the time to look after in the market and keep in modernizing the history, right? So that's one of the value proposition. If we feel that this guy is intending to make an existing investment, we end up always our pitch, because we've done a center of excellence in Jordan, and we have an operating model that we can enable anybody, because the way how we bring people is very secret sauce in AiElements. The way how we bring capacity, that's the secret, right? So we've done like too many years to bring such people to the engineering capacity and delivering. So if that DNA is in front of me, I said, you know what? After I finish that slow hanging fruit or short term ROI, don't worry. I'll transfer this to your team and I'll let them to scale your vision. Because I know even he will continue using us as a consultancy or shadowing or whatever, or bringing more. So that build kind of trust, because again, what we sell is not for today. It's for the next coming 10 years. So there's a lot of time enough to raise to the 16 figures, because we are early adopters. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I really like the understanding a level deeper who you're speaking to, what their real motivation is, because again, it's you can have the greatest service, you can be the top engineer in the world, but if you don't know who you're speaking to and what actually motivates them and how they think and you're not able to even think about what's maybe beyond the scope of what's important the next couple of months, but what's going to be important in the next couple of years, and really setting your vision on that, it's very hard to grow something big. So I got a lot from your perspective. And the last question that I want to ask before we wrap up here is, if you were to go back and speak to yourself when you were just starting out your entrepreneurial journey, and you had to tell yourself how to focus your time, your resources in today's market, what would you tell yourself to make sure that you're not getting distracted and focused on doing the right things that will help you grow and become a successful entrepreneur?
That's a hard question, but I'll answer it from my experience. Like, it's a very specific, not generic answer. My case is, I came from a leadership capacity when I founded the company. Like, literally, I used to be a team leader, leading, like, if I recall it, 40 people in BI. And they took me, the investors, and they put me a founder, and they put me a CEO. That was like an entrepreneur who spent a lot of money. So when I started, I wanted to do IoT. I wanted to develop an IP because I want to build the value for the company. And then I started services. The first 2 years, I spent a lot of money. I wasted a lot of money from the capital. And if I would have the same experience I'm in today after 5 years on the very early stage, I just would have done whatever I'm doing today. It's just laser focus. But instead of striving to have the best engineering capacity, I would have spent the early money on more engineering, high qualified capacity, and investing in how to build engineering capacity in low cost, which is our secret sauce. That's it. I'm doing great. I'm iterating great. I'm running over projects 3, 4, 5 years. But the thing is, again, I wasted a lot of money. So I would have invested in this because I knew that whatever I'm doing today is not for today. It's just for the next 5 to 10 years. The value, the returns is going to be with the next 2, 3, 5 years as a short term, or long term, it's going to be for the future. We are early adapters. So when we go to an executive, there's 9 companies, 5 of them international, 5 of them local. Price, quality, promising, no risk, short-term ROI. Why not? We've done it. We've done it twice, thrice. We won a lot of big names.
It's really good advice. And I think, again, that your perspective, it can help any early entrepreneurs listening to this think about the value of all their time, their resources that they're investing in their startup. It doesn't pay off right away, and that's okay. Having that long-term vision of it all being worth it, maybe not today, maybe not in a few months from now, but it will pay off, is what we need to keep on remembering to continue to think long term and to build something that is actually worth building and is very valuable in the marketplace. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation, Yanal, and all the perspective that you brought from your experience. For anyone who wants to reach out to you personally or to AiElements, where can they find you?
Yanal at AI-elements.com. I'm available on the profile on the LinkedIn, Yanal Yasin. My bold is very unique. Yeah, I'm reachable. Like, I'm available on everywhere.
Perfect.
If anybody texts me on my email, as I said, it's Yanal at AI-elements.com. That's my business email. And LinkedIn, I'll be happy to connect.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Yanal.
Thank you too. Thank you, Meir, for your time, and wish you the good luck with your podcast and for connecting the space, right? You're connecting us. That's amazing. Good luck in your journey.